Hi and welcome to Scholars Tutorial. I'm Jay and this tutorial will be talking about objective subjective. Oteejay logged in and she's a teacher in the school and we're going to use her portfolio as a S2 math teacher to work on objective subjective, a form of a question type or used for CBT. Now we can we select this particular uh, option here, and from there we can select the objective subjective under a CBT menu item. Then we'll be presented with the interface whereby we can actually save an objective subjective. Objective subjective is a concept whereby we try to, it's like subjective and objective together, fused together somehow. Now and in this particular case, it comes typically in such a way that we have a passage, and the passage is split into chunks of text, and in between those chunks of text there are missing items, missing words, and a group of words, and you're required to actually uh, provide those missing group of words from a drop down option or brother objective. Now look, as the case as for this case, we'll have that we can have up to 10 missing group of text, and you will specify the first chunk of text, then there will be a missing item here, the next chunk of text from the passage, then a missing word from the passage, the next chunk of text, a missing word from the next. That's how we are going to be is created, and at the end of this creation we don't need to what to or save the objectives that are supposed to what occupy those missing chunk of text, and among one of the options of the objective will be the actual missing actual missing group of the words. Now we, as you can see, the first text may not be there in a situation whereby we are just starting with a voice. The first word of the paragraph of a passage is not is a missing word, then it means that this first one will be empty. Likewise, the last one, in the situation whereby the last item, the last word is the missing word, then it means that this particular text 11 will no longer be will be empty in that case. Now let's take a look at the ones that was previously created. We will click on objective subjective, we'll have access to the objective subjective that was created for 2014-2015 third term, and it's for mathematics. Now if you look at this one, we have that the title is orthopedics. Remember that the title is not compulsory, and this is the first test, the second test, the fourth, the third test, the fourth test, and the fifth test. It means that we can have a missing text here, that is for bone, then something missing, and then construction. We can have another. We'll have another one here. We have another one here. We have another one here. Maybe we'll have another one at the end of this one, but I think we don't really have another one because there's a full stop at the end of this. Now we can click here to view this particular objective subjective. When we click there, we have viewing the objective subjective. We have that this one is the first objective that is inserted between the text 1 and text 2, and the options of the objective is A is repair, forge, maintenance, like that, and the answer is A, which is repair. Now we can decide to view it separately. That is, when we view it separately, we can have more access to more detail about that. Then this one we can edit it, and this one is the second the objective that is between the second objective between the text 2 and the text 3. There you can look at all of them. Then the one after text 3 text 5, there is no objective specified there. It means that it's of no importance right here. Now we can add more objectives, or we can use that particular add more objectives. Then if we need to add the fifth objective, we can actually specify that this is the one we are talking about, we want to add, and write all the parameters involved. We put the text there, the options there, and choose the particular answer we want to use. Remember that this one is a single choice answer, and we can explain it, and or upload a picture to explain it. We can use an Excel file to actually import a group of a group of objectives to fill the objective for the objective subjective. Now, under this condition, we're required to specify the position, just like the way we specify position of what 1, 2, 3, specifying whether the position 1 is specifying that is between test 1 and test 2, position 2 specify that is between test 2 and test 3, just like that. And in that case, if we are to use this particular option of a Excel format, Excel file, we'll have to specify the position here 1, 2, 3 to 10. Then we'll put the objective text, the options there, then the answer. Then we can then put the explanation for that one. Then and that is how we can actually create or add um, more objectives to objective subjective. Now, under that condition, we need to choose the file here and import it into this particular application, and those objectives will be automatically be on the application. Now we have that this one can be edited, like for example this one we can edit it by clicking this and we have access to editing it, and under this kind of editing you can even remove it entirely from being an objective on the platform, or on this particular objective subjective, or we can even reassign it to another position. That is maybe we can transfer this one to position objective 3. So for this editing we can actually just do as we have said, because you can change the answer, change the options, input the explanation, and click on edit to reflect that. You can choose, you can change it to another particular position, or we can remove it entirely from the application, from this from being one of the objectives here. Now when we go back, we can click on this view, and when we view it we can have some other things we can work on for this particular objective. We can actually deactivate it, or we can edit it just the way we have seen in the previous interface. And if it happens to be that it was previously edited before, we see the editing the object history right here, and we can go back and have access to this. As it stands now, I've explained how we can interact with this particular all of these items here. Then we can still go a little bit further back and use this one to still go back. As I added this one on the back button, but I think it came from this place. So the listing of objective subjective exists. Now we have it like this. We can view the object history of this particular objective subjective, and if you look at that object history, I think there's nothing that has been updated so far, and we can choose to deactivate it. If you look at this, it tells us that the objective of the first objective is available, second objective is available, and we can actually use that to understand some the current state of this objective subjective. And so look at it this way. We can actually choose to view the subject. When we click on this, we have access to view the subject and view the question. And viewing the question is to give us an active formatted way in which the way in which this particular objective subjective is going to appear. Now we have that it's going to appear like this. This is the first chunk of data, the text 1, this is the text 2, and this is objective 1. And look at the drop down, just this way the student can actually select the one they prefer. And this is the objective 2, and this is the text 2, text 3, this is objective 3, text 4, and objective 4, and text 5. And under this one we have that the answer to the first one, that is this one, is E, this other one is B, that is the second objective, third objective is C, the fourth objective is I think C again. And we'll find out that for the question we have that the topic is the probability, the mark is 7, and the time to answer this question is 3. And if you look at all these parameters right now, you can see how all of them fit together to actually create a very unique question type that will go a long way to test a very different aspect of the student understanding or comprehension of what they have learned over the period of time. Thank you for checking out this tutorial. We look forward to seeing you next tutorial, and make sure your school is signed up on those scholars.